See, to live is to suffer. But to survive, well, is to find a meaning in the suffering. Hey, I'm slipping, falling, can't get up. Hey, I'm slipping, falling, can't get up. Hey, I'm slipping, falling, got to get up. Get back on my feet so I can tear shit up. Hey, I'm slipping, falling, can't get up. Hey, I'm slipping, falling, can't get up. Hey, I'm slipping, falling, got to get up. Get back on my feet so I can tear shit up. I've been through mad different phases, like mazes, to find my way. And now I know that happy days are not far away. If I'm strong enough, I'll live long enough to see my kids doing something more constructive with the time and bids. I know, cause I've been there. Now
every day we living life up and down, going through changes, and you know what I'm saying? Real life, you know.
Welcome to the Doctor's Hour. I'm your handsome host, Suka. And sometimes when you're a businessman 24/7, people forget that you're just a man trying to run a business. Today, we revisit with someone that has a colorful array of talents, but today we're just going to keep shit black and white. We are here with Pearson God, Snoop 24/7.
Yes, thank you for having me again. It's not the last time. So everybody wants me to really speak truth because I hold so much truth in to try to make sure everybody else's feelings is secure. So today is worrying about my feelings and not everybody else's.
Throughout the DMV area, you go by a few names: Snoop, 24, Pearson God, etc. If you don't mind saying, what exactly is your name?
My government name is Kevin Rucker, Rucker.
Like Rucker Park.
Yeah, Rucker
So
Park.
tell me a little bit about your parents and how was your childhood?
I grew up in a, what do you call it, both parent household. Um, pretty decent. I'm not gonna say I was gold spoon. I ain't gonna say I was gutter, but you know, in the neighborhood that we grew up in, my parents made the most out of it to make sure that I didn't go down the wrong path or try to keep me away from selling drugs on the corner or going out doing this and doing that. So they took care of me very well. I would say I grew up pretty good. I'm not gonna say it's I'm not gonna say the bad shit, but I'm gonna say the good things. My parents raised me well, so what I chose to do was what I chose to do with myself.
What was a time when you would say that you disappointed your parents?
Mm. The first time, I'm gonna speak on the first time. The first time that I disappointed my parents was when they found I had like a little lockbox. It wasn't even like a lockbox. It was like a tin can with the flap on it, and I had weed, condoms, a love letter, and some other shit in it. It was like my little safe box. But I got and I was one of the only niggas in the neighborhood with a cell phone at this time. Mind you, this is the beginning of cell phone time. So I had minutes on the phone and stuff like that. So my parents called me. I was like, yeah, hurry up, bring your ass in the house. So I knew something was up. So as soon as I get there, I see my mother just had like a look on her face with tears in her eyes. And that's something that stuck with me like forever. Never to let my mother, never to bring tears out of my mother's eyes. Like anything that hurts her hurts me. And you know, my father gave me the talk, and he was like, "The best thing you got in this fucking box is the condom." I got in trouble for it, but I mean, you know, it was a life lesson. I was probably like 15, 14 when that happened.
What is a time that you remember with your siblings where not even some chaotic shit happened, but just a time like you just had a night or a situation and y'all made it through and you got home and you're like, shit, like that was close.
With the siblings, I can say a spot with my brother. So I'm the youngest of three. Can I speak on that? Okay. So I'm the youngest of three. So Me and my sister's relationship, my sister's 10 years older than me, my brother's 5 years older than me. So my sister's relationship was, I was like her child almost. So the things that me and her did isn't the stuff that me and my brother did, of course. But me and my brother, I was young as hell, and he might have just turned 16, 17, stole my father's Yukon, and we were riding around downtown doing some shit we weren't supposed to be doing, especially me at 9. But I remember he took us down K Street. If y'all know about K Street, y'all know the type of business that's ran down there. So me at 9 years old was my first time holding a grown woman's titties in my hand, hanging out the window. But I'm glad that we made it home without anything as far as the police, because this was maybe early 2000s. So it was complete different times. But that's one of the moments I can speak on.
As a kid or as a teenager in high school, your coming of age phases, how did you first begin to rebel? Like, as far as drugs, drinking, and what happened for you to get control of it?
Mm. Okay, the beginning of it, I would say the beginning of my drinking would be me. My father had like a little bar in the house, not even like a bar, like a little table where he just had his drinks that he'd come home and drink off of. So when my parents, like I said, I grew up in a good house. So my parents, they used to take vacations to the Bahamas, Jamaica, and here and there, and we were in the house, like me, my brother, my sister. So when they went out of town, a lot of the times we would throw house parties. So of course I wasn't old enough to drink, but I knew Dad had about 20 bottles down there. He had bourbons, vodkas, tequilas. So what I would do is I would pour a shot out of each bottle into one cup to fill the cup up, and we all drank out of that, so that he wouldn't realize that his liquor was missing.
When would you say was the time you didn't recognize yourself?
Mm, mm. I need some tissue. Are we looking at the man in the mirror? Is that what we're saying? Okay, so a time in my life where I was, say, the worst. So the darkest time in my life would have been around 2000 and I want to say like 12 or 15. I can't remember the exact. When I was tattooing in Silver Hill Road the second time around. So that's when I went through a lot of things, like personally. Um, a lot of people know me. My relationship has been publicized because who my daughter's mother now, but who my girlfriend at the time was, has a platform, and she used it to voice her opinion on the situation. I voiced my opinion on the situation at the time. I've done jail time falsely behind her. It's a lot of shit. So I mean, a lot of that stuff just took me downhill. That's when everybody knew Lit Snoop. Like I was in the stadium every Tuesday, for every night. I lived there basically. So drinking, drugging. Molly was the drug back then, so of course I had a shitload of it, and that's basically what I was doing. At the same time, it was like I was self-destructing. My friend Montana at the time was trying to, keep me in the gym and keep me working on my body. Like I said, rest in peace to him. Tatted Montana was his name, if y'all know him on Instagram. But it was just like a lot of built up stuff that I didn't really know how to control at the time. So my mechanism was going out every night, partying, of course, getting that love from everybody in the club, knowing that, okay, when we see Snoop, we know we're gonna have a good time. So even though it was like, it's hard to, like, a lot of people don't know what's going on the inside because you show the smile on the outside. But like mentally, that was my worst time in life. Like I was self-destructing. I was trying to destroy myself, but at the same time, it looked to everybody else as if I was living life. I was enjoying life. Shit, I was homeless at that time too. To be honest with you, I was probably going house to house. What I did was when I had put everything into that relationship. So when I left, she had the house. I was left with nothing. So I had a car. Put all my shit in my car, and I was living out of the car in the shop from that time. Um, and that was a dark moment that I told myself I would never go back to being that person. So a lot of the times when people ask me now, like, "Oh yeah, we remember this time," and da I tell them I'm not going back down that road. Like I rarely drink today because of what I've been through then.
With Montana being a positive influence, how did you bring yourself to cut off ties with the people in your life who wasn't?
Mm, I can't even say okay, hold on, because that's a trick question. So we still speaking on that time or today? Because a lot of the people
Anytime.
that I was doing the drugs with is still around.
Well, how did you figure out what's for you is for you,
Okay.
and stop it? Just because you're around people, don't mean you gotta do the shit that they're
Right.
doing.
Okay. All right, there we go. All right. So, yeah, he was positive as far as like gym, and he was big on health. Like when he started going to the gym, we were actually the same size. He's a little shorter than me, so his shit toned up and looked a little better. But when we were in the gym, we were both lifting the same shit, doing the same amount of things. It's just my metabolism and my body structure is different from his. So I mean, that's still something that, like an inside thing that when I go to the gym, I still think of the shit he used to say. So it's still something that I live by today that a lot of people don't even know. A lot of people didn't know that me and him had that gym connection. Um, but as far as like eliminating the drug part is, it comes with a lot of self dedication and stuff that you really have to put into your own mind, that you don't want to go down this road, you don't want to harm yourself, you know that you want better for yourself, so you actually got to look in the mirror and tell yourself every day that you can't look back, you can't go back to that, you can't go back down that road, it's only forward from here. The real friends, like I'm still filtering through them today, like trying to see who's really in my circle and who's in my corner, who wants the best for me.
Women in the workplace, how is your love life? And if you are in a relationship, how do you balance the two?
Um, Dealing with a lot of female clientele, of course. A lot of my clients are like genuine friends that I've known for a long time, so it doesn't matter what their job description is, what they do online, OnlyFans, all this shit. I don't look at them like that when they come to me. Like our connection is completely different from the internet connection. Um, right now, I'm in a situation. Okay, I feel like Diddy and Young Miami. You know, it's like I'm in a situation, but we haven't called it like boyfriend girlfriend type thing. But it's somebody who I've been around or I've known for a very long time who is just trying to help me get back onto the right path, like mentally and emotionally. She just somebody that just wants to see the best in me, type thing. So yeah, we're hanging out, we're going places, we're doing things, but we haven't really locked it in as of yet to be a relationship, but we are together. That's the best way to put it.
To get to this point of discipline, what did you have to change about yourself? Because, as you stated, I know a lot of attractive women come around.
Mm.
Is it hard for you to pass on business because some women are straightforward and they disrespectful? Because some women don't care,
All right.
So is it hard for you to, do you give like somebody a warning? Hey, I'm in a relationship, calm down, when some women are direct, or do you just brush it off and try to just do what you can?
I mean, nah, now I do got some that's very aggressive, but
Persistent.
yeah. But I mean, a lot of even them. Like if you know me, you know that don't get on my bad side because when you over there, you over there. So a lot of them respect anything that I have going on, regardless if they want to fuck me or not. You know, they still respect if I post somebody, they know I'm dealing with that person. So they, whether you call it sitting on the back burner or whatever, they don't approach me like that. They play their part and know not to cross that line.
What is a lie that you told a female when you were younger that kind of stuck with you and you promised not to revert back to that way or do something like that again to a woman?
Like
Or
cheating.
something that you did.
I would say it's cheating. Would that be a
Yeah.
lie? Because I feel, I mean, honestly, and I say this in the most genuine way, men and women cheat. So I mean, if it's something that, and I even say it like as far as me asking a woman, if I ask you something, it's because I already know, and it's the same way. If a woman asks you some shit, 9 times out of 10 she already knows. So like if you went snuck off and did this and did that, I'd rather you tell me than to keep lying, knowing that I already seen the shit, and vice versa. So I just feel like being honest, yeah, it hurts feelings, but at the same time, if you asking meaning that you still want to try to work through this, like we're grown now, so I went and fucked up, but I apologize for it and I want to move forward. Can we move forward from this, or is that something that is going to end the situation? So, I mean, I'd rather be honest nowadays. If, God forbids, if I do go and fuck up, I'll be honest. Like, look, I did this. I realized it was wrong. I just want to let you know and see if we can move past it or if it's something that, it's just going to tear us apart.
So, what do you expect from love? For you to give 100% and be fully invested, what do you expect, or what do you expect to gain from love?
Like a compassion, like, not, that was the wrong word, companionship. There you go. Just to be around, just me knowing that if I come home with, like, when, who said that? I think Kevin Gates said it, like, about somebody, men staying out in the streets and not wanting to come home at night because it's not home. Like, it's just a place where, yeah, the family's there, yeah, your wife or your girl is there, but it doesn't feel embracive when you walk through that door. So, like, that's it. Just showing me, and it could be as simple as, oh, hey, a hug at the door, and man, they got to speak no more the rest of the fucking night. But just that part right there just shows me that I'm welcome coming into the house, or that you miss me, or that you are happy that I'm in there. Cause I've been in so many situations. I've been in some that has felt like it's been forced, or that I had to do it because kids are there. So of course you always want to do your best for that. But at the same time, it's like if the love isn't genuinely there, sometimes don't force yourself. I got a friend, close friend of mine, won't say her name, but she has said something about like her and her baby father. I know a little bit about this situation, and I'm like, look, if the love ain't there, let it go. It ain't no point in forcing it. Y'all are at each other's neck every day or every night, trying to make sure that you keep your daughter happy. And I felt the same way, so I had to tell her. I told my daughter's mother, I love you genuinely, but it's not there. Like, I'd rather let it go and we be on good terms than we fight and then on bad terms, like yelling at each other. I'd rather just say, look, it's time for us to go our separate ways. No love lost.
The strength of a man is measured by what he can endure and push through. Now, this is our second interview, so I know a little about you from the beginning to the end, and we got more in depth of that today, into that today. Um, you know hard times and know how to bounce back. That's one thing I can say. You recently have been, faced with something truly, truly devastating, the loss of your daughter. in February 27th.
Mm-hmm.
And with you having the following that you have and having so many eyes on you and having that shake up, just your entire existence.
Oh shit! You just got the tears out of me. All right. Give me tissue. Go ahead.
I know with so many eyes on you, I know that, you have people want to give compassion and say things and things like that, but it's all at once and you're dealing with it all at once. I
Right.
know you just wanted to be left alone without being, mean about it. How old were you, just to get into her life a little, how old were you when you found out you were having Kaylee?
All right. So I was 32 when I found out I was having her. Me and her mother. I think she was conceived on Valentine's Day, but that's a whole nother argument. But I was 32. We were living out in Bowie, and it was something that me and her have been through the relationship 6, 7 years. Never used a condom. So when she said she was pregnant, it was like a surprise to me type thing. Um, but I was excited, to have another. That would have been my fifth child. Fifth child at the time. I had to make sure she was in line. I'm sorry, other baby mothers. I was counting them getting old. Okay, so um, yeah, and it was like another joy coming into life, and especially when I found out it was another girl. God always says He slows you down with the females, with the girls, and I got it. You don't gotta give me no more, God. Okay, I got it. But um, yeah, it was exciting, and I was there from birth. I was the first person, like literally, the doctor was like, "Here she go." 5 seconds after she popped out, so I made sure I was always around or tried to be around as much as possible.
So could you possibly explain to people who don't know what exactly happened with the situation?
Yes. So we went in on 27. So we found out like late January, I want to say. I'm sorry if I don't got exact dates, but she always had like spats that'll show up on her head. And I always argue with her mother about putting rubber bands too tight on her head and stuff like that, like sores popping up on her head. So we ended up making like a routine doctor's visit just to get a checkup on her, make sure she was healthy, make sure everything was right. On that doctor's visit, they ended up doing blood work and like going into depth into her body just to make sure everything internally was okay. Uh, they came back, said that that lab showed that she had a low blood count. So take her to go get more labs. So we took her across the street to get more blood drawn so they could go in depth and do a deeper lab. Um, the next day, I was actually on my way to the gym, and I literally was parking at the gym. Got a phone call from Children's Hospital, so I answered it, and it was the doctor. And of course, if why y'all calling me? So what's going on? She was like, yeah, I've been trying to reach mom. Mom hasn't. Mom was in the house still asleep. So I was like, yeah, she's in the house asleep. Her phone was probably on do not disturb. What's going on though? So she was like, you know, we got our labs back. They ended up finding what was the word she used? They found spats of leukemia in her blood. So at this time, I knew leukemia was cancer, but I didn't know too much about leukemia. So as soon as she said that, I Googled leukemia. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Screenshot it, send it straight to her mother. It was, I'm cussing around like, what the fuck is you doing? You sleep? We trying to da da da. So, I apologize for that now, but I was cussing her out for being asleep. So I bucket you. I was at Arundel Mills, bucket you from Arundel to Laurel, where we lived at. And by the time I get to the house, she's on the phone with the doctor. So, of course, my daughter Kaylee is sitting on the sitting on the shit. You got me. Hold on. She was sitting on the table, we just got her dressed to go to the hospital, basically, because they told us to take her straight to Children's Hospital in DC. Um, so we took her there. Of course, they by the time we got to the hospital, they had every result back saying that she did have leukemia and that we'll have to check in and we'll be there from that day until they get everything figured out. We cleared out of her body. Never knew until that day that she had anything wrong with her. She was going to be in there for until they figured out everything that was wrong with her, and they'll give her chemo and everything to make sure that it was out of her blood. So of course we did whatever the doctor said that we needed to do to make sure that she was healthy, and that's like one of the hardest things is knowing that something is wrong with your child, because you want them to grow and be what they're supposed to be in life. But we were in there for about like 3 weeks. And then, should I go all the way to that part? We were in there for about 3 weeks. She was doing great. She was clearing up, 0 signs of leukemia. Everything was going down to 0. Her blood levels were going up. The spots that we had took her to the hospital for were going away. We seen like the blood going to the spots, actually healing it. And we were just set to get her out, basically. The doctor had came in with like the day before her passing, the 25th. That's not the day before, but that's when they gave her the drug, on the 25th. And they said it was a drug that they know will clear leukemia out for good, but she will be the youngest to ever get it. So, like I said, it's a hard thing to have to deal with. Like, okay, do we want to give it to her and she'll be like a trial study to see if it works, or do we say no and then it comes back later on in her life? So me and her mother made the decision that if that's the best choice, if that's what y'all think is gonna work, if y'all, I say this, if this will make her live, if it's something that might, like, death wasn't the option. We weren't taking it as she might make it, she might die from this medicine. That was not the option on there. If they would have said anything about this medicine might take her out, I would have said no from the beginning. And long story short, after they gave her the medicine, I had ran out to go. I think I ran out to the store. So when I got back, her mother was saying that she wasn't really feeling too good. She wasn't eating. She wasn't drinking. She just kept saying her stomach was hurting. Hold on. And we kept calling the nurse and, telling her that we knew that something was wrong. The nurse kept saying she was fine. Just got to go through the motion, let the medicine work itself through her body. And that was from 9 to probably like 5 in the morning. She didn't sleep. She just kept jumping up, saying that her stomach was hurting, waking up like she was taking literally like 10-minute cat naps, then waking up saying her stomach was hurting. So we kept, when I say that we called the nurse every time she said her stomach was hurting, every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, we would call the nurse. By time about, I want to say it was a early morning, like 5, 6 a.m., my daughter had a seizure in my arms. And that was, is something that, like I said, I made a joke about it on the last interview, but it's something that I've been through already, which is overdose. And I know what an overdose looks like. I have people that I done seen go through the motions of Erling, throwing up, nothing. Basically, it's your body like regurgitating the medicine, trying to get it out. So I actually told the doctor that. I told the doctor that she was overdosing, and the doctor said, "No, it's not that." And I told the doctor I've been there before, so I know what it looks like. By then, I can say my daughter was seasoned. Her eyes rolled into the back of the head. She was just lifeless in my arms. Um, Took her down to the ICU, and that's where I didn't give up, but I prepared myself for the worst in trying to keep her mother at ease, of any outcome that might come from the situation. Um, After being down there, they gave us, the option of life support. They said that life support might work, it might not work because her blood levels were still off. So, if they put the thing into her neck, she could bleed out or she might survive. So it's not even a 50-50. It was more like a 70-30. It might keep her, but then it might not. So, dealing with that is like the hardest thing to ever have to deal with, especially with like a 2-year-old. Take a break. And I'm trying to cram it all in without giving the full day. All right, I'm back. Okay, so it was like the hardest thing to ever have to decide for a child, for your 2-year-old child, that you never knew anything was wrong up until 3 weeks ago, and how it can go from here to downhill like within a night. So she was in the bed. They were just basically keeping her comfortable, giving her blood. She was unconscious the entire time that we were downstairs. They were giving her blood. They was giving her IVs, giving her fentanyl to, they said, to ease the pain. Just a lot that I know that a 2-year-old child shouldn't have to do. The passing on February 27th was her time. And me, her mother, we never left her side. They gave us the opportunity, like up until like that last hour after they saw that nothing was getting better, to call family in. And I called. They told us we could call 2 people. We ended up filling up the whole hospital. We had probably like 20 people, 20 family members. 20 family members come in and sit in the waiting area. And they allowed them to come in, see her one by one. I don't know. I mean, that changed me.
How do you manage and keep managing now? Like, how are you managing? How are you trying? Like,
Some days are better than others. Some days I wake up, don't want to be here. Some days I wake up and know that I gotta be here. I know it was gonna happen, but I didn't want to cry.
have you picked up any old habits due to this?
Yes. So, like, even when my daughter was in the hospital, I would sneak outside and go meet a friend of mine, like, to pick up drugs, which was Percocets, which would, I want to say it would, I mean, if people know what the drug does, it's a pain medication, but at the same time, it brings you down, like, down to earth. So it was something that sort of helped me stay strong I'm not even gonna say that. It helped me stay at a level of not going crazy throughout that situation. Um, because I knew I had to keep my daughter. I had to make sure I smiled. Kept positive thoughts in my head. I had to make sure I kept her mother at ease, and always trying to keep a positive thought throughout the whole situation. But like internally, I was going through it, like going through a lot of emotions, and it's something that like I bottled up and I tried to hold it in. And everybody always told me, or like when a friend asked me, like what's going on, how's everything, I would always speak on everybody else, but not myself. And that's something that they always said was, you taking care of the family, but you always gotta take care of yourself. And it's something that I got a problem with doing. I know that. I take care of everybody around me. I make sure that everybody around me is good before myself.
How would you say your mental health is right now in this day and age?
Today, today I'm doing good. Uh, like, what was it? Probably like a month ago, probably a little bit over a month. Like when I closed the shop down in the Run the Mills,
Why did you close the shop in the Winter Mills?
it was a lot, like mentally, and a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that, of course, nobody seen as far as like management, and they didn't really want me in that mall to begin with, and like it was just too much for me to deal with at one time. So I did it honestly to like free my mind, take a break. I Nobody in that shop would have took it over and handled it the way I wanted it. So I said instead of me putting it in your hands and it fumble, I would just rather close it down because like the rent was paid, everything was good. I just closed it. It wasn't that I lost it. I couldn't do it. Um,
Have you ever sought out for professional help, like a therapy, like therapy and things like that?
yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, actually, the person I'm dealing with is a mental therapist, which is something that, of course, it's like a not like a gift and a curse, but it's
Pro
like
and a con.
yeah, pro con. So it's like she knows me personally, but at the same time,
She can professionally assess you.
right? And we make jokes about that how we might just be in there and she'll go into work mode, ask me questions, and I'm like, all right, look, I'm not your fucking client. I ain't your patient.
So with you closing the Arundel Mills shop, what happened to the other location in District Heights, Capitol Heights?
Capitol Heights. While I was in the hospital dealing with my daughter, of course, I was going through a lot of shit. I had to still make sure everything was taken care of. The landlord was still calling me. So I told my brother, he said he could take over as far as like being a manager for the shop, but I would still be the owner. So I put him and the landlord in connection, like to talk so that I wouldn't have to do it because I was still in the hospital. This is before my daughter passed. Um, and long story short, he ended up figuring out some type of way to get a lease worked up in his name, and he signed the shop over to itself without without my permission. My thing was to, like I said, you can be the manager, you handle whatever down there. I'll still collect the rent, make sure everything gets paid out. We'll do that part, but it was still supposed to be in my name. I'm still the owner. Uh, Long story short, it was some janky shit that I'm not going to go and sue my brother for snatching something, but it's something that the landlord himself shouldn't have did, but ended up doing anyway. Um, and like me and my brother, we haven't really spoke since then, because I feel like that was the cruddiest shit to do while I was down dealing with something to come out and do that. Um, so I just, like I said, I let it all go, let that go, let Around the Mills go. I've tried to just get my brain together for a second before I went and opened up another shop. That's why I didn't open up Clarksburg as of yet. It's still in the motion, but I don't think I'm mentally there yet. No.
What advice would you give your younger self if you could say anything?
Mm, the advice. See, I wouldn't really change anything that I did because everything is a learning experience. So I feel like if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be who I am today. Um, like I spoke before I came in here, I spoke to a friend of mine, and she was just asking what I was doing today, and I told her I was about to do an interview, and small stuff that it was based on, and she just told me, give it to him raw, don't sugarcoat nothing because my I'm genuine. Like if I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. You'll know that from the beginning to the end. Like a friend of mine, I'm gonna say he's a friend. He called me yesterday because I had certain thoughts of him and my baby mother talking about some shit. And he called me like, bro, my loyalty's to you. I ain't never gonna do no shit like that behind your back. And I said, I had to see what was going on. Like, nigga, y'all shouldn't be talking. Nigga, you my nigga. Y'all shouldn't be talking. Plain and simple. But he broke it down too, and I said, all right, that's cool. I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page with everything and don't shit get chopped up or confused. Just because we ain't together don't mean she still don't get that title as being my child's mother. Um, Getting too deep. Okay. And it was, just that. I just want to make sure that everything's cleared up. That even though me and my daughter's mother aren't together today, now. But it's like at the end of the day, I still have to check on her from here and there mentally. I'm not just the type of person to be like, okay, we ain't together, fuck you. My daughter not here. No, that's not me. So regardless of where her path is going, where my path is going, if she goes get married, if I go get married, we have other kids with other people, that doesn't change anything from our connection of losing a child. It's something that nobody know unless you go through it, you won't know that feeling. So it's still something that, like I said, only me and her know that feeling or can sort of console one another. Like, yeah, I know my day it didn't start off too good, but I got it to where it needs to be, and I'm making it through the day. But like I said, some days are better than others. I like I said, I tried going downhill again, but it didn't work. So I'm still here. Um, I can say that I have three of my kids' parents, three of my kids' mothers were doing a search for me, trying to figure out where I was at. That's something that I can say I love about them, even though you know we had our past or whatever. If anything, they don't play about me. Let's use that word. If anything goes wrong with me, they see me, they check in on me. My son mother, she just wrote me something the other day. I'm not gonna get into depth about it, but she was just saying, I like the smile that you have on today rather than a few weeks ago. I'm glad to see that you're happy. And like I said, I appreciate that part because shit, we ain't together, and she ain't have to say that, but it just shows me that, you know, I'm still, I still got other people that I have to live for and that I have to show out for and just, be there for.
What are some expectations of yourself or some personal goals that you have right now for you?
Um, I still have, like, I want to get my my body, my spirit together, like right now, which is, my gym journey and just trying to go out. I go out like once a day, and I just honestly talk to the sky. Like I'm gonna say talk to God. I'm not gonna say talk to the sky. So I talk to God and just ask him, like where am I supposed to be at? Like that's something that we all say, okay, yeah, I want to be here, I want to do this, and what's your 5 year plan? Or will that 5 year plan actually work out? And speaking everything into existence, but you always get a hurdle through that. Like, it's never perfect. If you say that you want to be a millionaire in 5 years, it's a journey. You won't be going up. Something might hit, that money might come down. You got to get the money back up. Might go back down. Like it's a lot that comes with it. It's never as easy as Instagram portrays it to be, or as social media might show that everybody shows the good and the nice cars, the nice clothes. It's always a highlight reel, but nobody shows or speaks about the bad that happens through life. And that's the part that I think a lot of people need to see.
So, what would you say that you want out of life at this point?
Happiness. Like I want to, yeah, just be like happy mentally, physically, everything. Just like I said, my gym, like even though I'm not huge, I can see a change in like my body, and I feel better. Like when I wake up, instead of me, I used to wake up in pain, like back pain, hunched over, tattooing and all that. But now it's like I wake up and I'm sort of rejuvenated, and I want to just get out there and go do stuff. I was at the gym before I got here, so probably go to the gym when I leave here. It's like that's just my place of peace, like where I just put all that energy into working out. Last week, and I was in there. It was, I knew who I knew, but then the girl was like, "Snoop, I haven't seen you since it happened," and it just like, why here? You get what I'm saying? But I listened to everything she had to say. I gave her a hug and I said thank you and everything. But it was just like I was coming out to enjoy myself, and you sort of brought me down a little bit. Now I gotta get myself back up, type shit. So like I said, I appreciate all of the love, but it's like, all right,
Just
I don't always like speaking. I don't like speaking. I know I have to speak on it, but I don't really like doing it because it brings out emotions. And I mean, do you want me to just sit there and start crying, or do you want to really know what's going on with me? I ended up getting this hat. Like I seen it on Amazon, and the color orange represents the leukemia cancer. Um, and I just got the army colors because we had made like a slogan, Kayleib be stronger than me, and Kaylee's army after her passing. So that's the main reason why I wear it. A lot of people don't know. They wonder why I got this bright ass orange hat on, but that's the symbolization for leukemia. Um, I wear it. Doesn't really matter if I'm matching or not. I wear it with anything. That's just my reason. It's my comfort wearing it.
first off, I would like to say just thank you for coming with all your transparency and your honesty. And I think this was a good idea to get more in depth of who Kevin is, getting to learn things about you and what you're going through. Because when you have, I know that Instagram is a facade for some, not for you. So you have a lot of people who know you, who love you, who follow you, and things like that, who you inspire. So for you to go through such a devastating time and still get up every day and just be able to sit and let people know what it is when you really don't have to explain shit,
Right.
is strength within itself. So I commend you
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate you.
It's just, oh, it's just like, I don't know. Like I said, the hardest thing is waking up and telling yourself that you gotta go through the day. It's easier said than done, of course, because like I have my days where, like I said, I'm still battling the abuse of drugs. So some days that I be like, I can't handle it. I need to pop a pill. Then it's like it puts me in the I don't give a fuck. Like when I some days I wake up in tears, like just crying. As soon as I do that, I don't cry when I'm on drugs. I can say that right now, so I'm not on it today. But it's like it takes away the tears, it takes away the emotion, it takes away a lot of shit, and it just numbs you. Honestly, like it just numbs the pain. So like just trying to deal with life sober, trying to deal with it the right way rather than just keep numbing myself every day to make it through. Then like that's it. That's all you're doing. You numb yourself for the next day and for the next day and for the next day, and then whatever the problem is, it's still there. Even though you said you're gonna push it off because you don't feel like dealing with it, the problem is always still gonna be there. It's still something that I'm dealing with today is the loss of my child, the loss of family, the loss of friends. Like I spoke on it on the last interview of me being the one stepping in when my aunt passed, actually being in a room with her when she passed, and seeing friends take their final breath, and then having to see my child pass and have a seizure and everything in my arms. It's something you can never take that image, that thought out your brain. So when I say that, like I smile to cover up all of the shit that's going on in my head and try not to like go crazy is it's hard. But at the same time, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know where I'm supposed to be in life. I know that I can't just go crazy. Like I honestly look at homeless people and like people that are sitting on the corner and they be like they crazy. I look at them completely different nowadays because the thing is you don't know what got them there. Like what drove that person to go do this? What made this person become homeless? Like what made them say that they can't handle life and this is the new life that they chose? It's a lot of shit that we just look over. We don't look at them like, oh yeah, they homeless. Why? Like it's and that's the way the society is that it might be that they didn't have nobody question their mental health or ask them what was going on or are you okay or do you need help with this, and they chose that path. I wouldn't say I would go homeless, but I thought about like going to move in the fucking woods and just being alone for a little while. So that's why I say when I see them, I treat them a lot different, and it's just like when I said I wanted to go out and live in the woods, it's just like a freedom of no bills. I want to change my number, just throw my phone in the corner and not have to talk to nobody. It's like mental clarity. Like sometimes the wrong phone call can trigger me. And when I say that, it's always somebody that needs something. I'm always the person that it seems like people call on shit. As soon as I get a cash app, it's like that shit ring on somebody else's phone because they need some money. As soon as that bitch hit my account, I ain't even got a chance to smell the motherfucking dollar before I got to send it off. So it's a lot of shit that, like I said, I deal with and I bottle it up and I try to just keep a smile on every day. But like internally, it's a lot that's going on still, and I'm getting through it. You know, I'm pushing through it, but it's still like a journey. It's an up and down journey. So some days, like I said, I still might wake up tomorrow. I might wake up happy. I might wake up sad. I really don't know until tomorrow gets here. But I try to always think of the positive things. I got other kids that I have to live for. My son is turning 17 on Saturday, August 13th. He wants a fucking car. I gotta get that. I got other daughters that's coming of age that need a father figure in their life. They need that male role model. They look up to me. My kids look at me like I'm a fucking superstar, and I don't look at myself like that, but they look at me like I'm so high up on this big, and I mean, I get it. Like, as a father, not even from my tattoo shit, but just being that father is good and great and exciting to me. That I always got to make sure that I'm doing the right thing to make sure that they're happy. It's not the end of me. I'm still working. I just went back to the shop that I was working at before I got my own shop. And for those who know, like me and him, we had a little clash before I left, but it wasn't nothing major. So Rockstar E is his name. He's the one that actually did the jacket for me. He did me and my daughter's mother jacket. Like, as soon as she passed, I called him, I'm sorry, and asked him to airbrush the jacket for me. Chris Montana, she did the tattoo on my hand and on my I'm gonna say her name. Did our tattoos, and like, as soon as that happened, like, I trust Chris with a portrait. I would never have called anybody else. I didn't know it was gonna be of my daughter, but when it happened, I called Chris Montana, and I said, "Hey, Chris, you know, she knew what would happen. She knew what happened." And me and Chris go back, like, way back. So, you know, of course, she said, whenever I want it, just call her. She'll come to me. I don't got to come to her. Just set up a chair for her. She got me. And that's exactly what she did. She came to my shop in Arundel Mills. I surprised Kayleib's mom with the tattoo. She didn't know what we were doing. I just told her, get up, because at this time she was still, you know, in the bed, dragging her feet around, just not really wanting to be bothered. So I said, yeah, I got a surprise for us today. I want you to get dressed, throw some sweats on. Come on, we're going up to the shop. We got there. She cried, had her moment, but she thanked Chris for everything. I thank Chris for everything. And, you know, it's just that, like, I can say my tattoo family has been around, been close to me. I want to say my tattoo family sometimes is closer than my family, like my blood family. I'm around them a lot more. Tadalow has been there every day. He calls me, checks up on me mentally, emotionally. Friend Kendall Swindle, whichever name he wants to go by, he's been there. My friend Bone, Easy, Steve, Herm, like all my closest friends. I'm sorry if I missed anybody. I don't think I did, but all my closest friends they check up on me here and there just to make sure that I'm straight, like mentally and emotionally. They know that it's a hard thing to deal with. My friend Bone actually took over like everything as far as the ceremony that we had for my daughter. He told me, don't worry about nothing. He was going to take care of everything, and he did just that. Made sure everything was in order. All I had to do was show up, and like I said, I thank him for that. As far as working, like I said, I'm not done. I have my moments where some days I'm here, some days I'm not. Y'all just gotta like really stick with me and like don't give up on me type thing. But you know, I'm trying to make it through. But some days I wake up and if my brain isn't there, like to do it, I'd rather reschedule than me come to work and fuck you up, obviously. So I do got more shop plans for the future. I'm not gonna say exactly where just yet, but I do have a lot of moves that I'm making out of town, in town. So y'all just gotta stick with me, follow me, stay with the journey, just stay locked in. Just trying to keep the subject without getting off subject, but trying to still remember that, everybody. Cause niggas be waiting for their thank yous, so I know I gotta say niggas' names too. I want to thank my lady friend as well. She's going She's my number one supporter. And I ain't want to treat her like Diddy treated Miami. And be like, yeah, that one thing, he think everybody but her. All he said was purr, and that was it. But yeah, Dia, that's her name. She's been around, through everything, and even through the situation of, like, I was dealing with her in a relationship for like 5 to 6 months before everything happened with my daughter and my daughter's mother wanting to try to work back on the family. And of course, like any man, I went back to try to see if I could work on the family. So, however the internet portrayed it to be that's y'all. I don't give a fuck, really. But, me and her, we had a conversation, and I told her, like, we don't at all, no matter how the situation was, we know it was a bigger picture out of the situation. So with me going back with my daughter's mother and being there for my daughter until her passing was like more of a blessing than, me going back and leaving this girl to go. It's a way bigger picture than a lot of other people might look at it. Like, Dia understands it. I understand it. That's all that fucking mattered. So, I mean, now that I know that she's somebody who is genuinely there, like, worrying about me, like, that's somebody who's just helping me through this journey and helping me get through every single day. Like, the what's it called? Not rehabilitation, but the sobriety and gym journey, like, all for it. If I say, yeah, I want to go to the gym, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I might be laid in the fucking bed. Oh, where you going? No, go ahead. Just go do what you got to do. Bring your ass back, type shit. But like, it's that part that I love and I accept, rather than I want to go to the gym. Oh, why are you going right now? It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you could just lay right here with me. And like, it's like the genuine part about it, and the caring is what I like about her. So it's just that. Like,
and that's honestly what you need right now.
Yeah, it's not.
All you need is some love.
Yeah.
Right about now.
I'd rather it be it just flow than forced. And it was, like I said, I'm not trying to talk bad on my daughter's mother, but a lot of the shit, I feel like we both felt like we were trying to force to make the family happen, rather than it just flowing. Like, when I say some days she would stay at work till 9, 10 o'clock at night, and not even working, just being at work just to be in that environment, and she didn't want to come home. Or I might sit around at the shop and stay at the shop because I didn't really want to go in the house to, be in there. And it was just the energy. Like, when we're good, but when we're off, it's just like it ain't shit there no more. Like, it's no hugs, the hugs stop, the energy is off, sex is off, like, we ain't fucking no more. Like, there's a lot of shit that comes into play when you know that it's not there no more. You could try to fix it, but like, try, but for only so long. Like, I was stressed trying to figure out what somebody else is looking for is one of the hardest fucking things. And I get it that you like, okay, I don't need to tell you what to do to make me happy, but sometimes you gotta throw a hint at least. If I'm just up here, I'm bringing you roses, I'm paying bills, I'm making sure you're fed, I'm doing everything that I think will make a motherfucker happy, you still ain't happy. The one word that was used a lot was not intimacy. It was what's the word? Affection. That I don't show enough affection. So for me, I had to Google the fucking word because I feel like I did, but for you to keep telling me I don't show you affection, I don't show you affection, I'm like, well, maybe I don't know what the fuck the word means. Let me Google it and see. So I read it, and affection is really a feeling within yourself, but it's a feeling that somebody else can bring to you, but it's still within yourself. So somebody can't give you affection. Somebody can only, like, you're happy being around this person would be the affection part. So when I broke it down, I'm like, well, if you aren't happy with my presence, that's nothing that I really need to change. Like I'm going to be me no matter what. And if you're not happy with my presence, then maybe I shouldn't be around. Like I can't become a person that you want me to be. That's not me. I'm not going to change that much. I'll change for the better, but I'm not going to change into a complete different person just to make you happy. What I got next coming up would be, I want to say I'm going to have another shop open within, where we at? We at August. I would say by spring of next year. I'm not going to rush into it for this year. So by spring of next year, I'll have something open for everybody. I still have, of course, everything as far as the aftercare products that now I have a few people that use it on eczema. They said it's working on that. Eczema and psoriasis are two things that I know that the ointment is good for. Other than tattoos, it works on those two things. So if you got eczema, give me a call. If you got psoriasis, give me a call. Shit works. So I'm still doing like the aftercare products, still doing the clothing with, you know, the branding and everything. Still have Big Tats as my brand. I'm just working with some old friends, NSP, Rockstar Inc. Like those are still my family regardless of what I'm doing. So I don't know if this interview will be out, but August 27th, NSP reunion. We just got a lot in store. And like I said, that's always my family. No matter if we're working together, a lot of people don't know that we even came up with each other. Me, Chris Montana, Sebastian, Tadelo, Paris J, Shy, Namir, Cup Up King, Tatted Tone, about two more. I'm sorry, D, Co, all y'all niggas. Like it's a lot of people that don't even know that we know each other and that we came up with each other and that we're still around each other to today. So, like I said, just look out for that. Always know that it's something that I might bring us back together or try to reunite and keep shit moving forward. That it's nothing but up and positivity from here on out. And I'm gonna make sure that I make everybody proud.
Cannot compare to the love of you. You make me feel alive. You are my highest high. All I can do is smile when I look in the